Hello everyone, I'm here to walk you through my dream project. The focus of my dream project was to use new media texts and tools to engage students in meaningful math dialogue. What I am showing you here is the previously redesigned text that I had for this lesson, or for one of the lessons in this unit. I used Google Docs as a primary interface to redesign my text, and I will show you some different things that I did to accomplish that. So this is just one little snippet. You can see that I've crossed things out and circled things and wrote little notes to myself about how I was going to redesign this text for this project. So here is my actual project where everything is housed. It starts with a word cloud. I wanted to focus on vocabulary and dialogue, and so including a word cloud of all the different things they would be using for this unit was important. Down here I start with a brief introduction to the website. Welcome to this class. This is what you're going to see on this website. Students start here, colleagues start there. And then to avoid some cognitive load here, I included an audio clip of all of this text. So if someone doesn't want to read all of that text, they can go right to the Vocaroo up here. I liked Vocaroo because it was free, it was quick, and I was able to embed it directly into my Weebly here, and it just plays right from there. I couldn't figure out a way to link these two together, to embed them together, but this kind of says, you should play this over here. There's something there for you. This was a GIF that I'll have to try and get an image of later. My school connection does not allow it to load. So students are supposed to start here at the student page, so I clicked right on students. This tells them about the course itself, so if I was redesigning the entire course, this is what they could expect. It says, first semester will stress the importance of developing math vocabulary. And then down here it says, through the course, students will be expected to think critically and support their thoughts through written and verbal communication. So we kind of lay it out there. We want to be able to use these things to have discussions in math class. There is a button that takes them right to the chapter. And then if they scroll down just a little bit, there's a little tech tip right here for how to add their graphs to their Google Docs. It's not something that many students are familiar with or know how to do. So I included this with the help of Bill for how to include that graphing calculator without making it the main focus of the project. So part of being fluent in math is being able to use the tech tools that we have available. So this is a nice little tech tip for how to use the graphing calculator. And then I link to the graphing calculator as well. So in chapter 5, the chapter 5 page has a little tune due to start. So using it for math, it's a little bit difficult with the equation editor not being available for that, but I kind of used a simple one. This tells them the major learning outcomes of the chapter, what they will learn, and what they will be expected to do with it. There was another GIF here, and I'm kind of bummed they're not showing up. And then down here, these chapter 5 materials, so just the 3 lessons that I have redesigned. And then this takes them back to that student homepage. So up here, you can also get to that information. So slope-intercept form here. All of the lessons are designed in a very similar fashion. I'm a creature of habit, and I like uniformity and routine. So I designed each of them to start the same way, and then as we get through the lessons, the activities are just a little bit different each day. So I included that picture again, just a little comic, kind of funny. Please form a y equals mx plus b. It's a line, haha. And then again, I include that audio, trying to reduce the amount of extraneous load on the students from reading a big block of text. They can just listen to the learning objectives. Here I started with a Kahoot. Kahoots are fun and engaging. The kids like to make up nicknames. They like to answer the questions. They like to see who wins. My only hang up with Kahoot is the amount of time that students get to answer the questions. The longest time you can give them is a minute or is 2 minutes. And sometimes in math, that's not exactly conducive to the students answering the questions. Here, again, I include a nice little tutorial, this time for Google Docs, because all of my redesigned text is in Google Docs. I can't just assume that students know how to use the equation editor. Obviously, as a math teacher, one of the first things I try to figure out with a word processor is how to use that. Students may not necessarily do that. Then each day, it tells them to enter the Google Doc. So here, I already have it open. This is my redesigned text for this section. Thanks to Duncan and his feedback, I know how to force the students to make a copy. So when I first opened this, it said make a copy, and I clicked that button and it makes a copy for me, and it says copy of slope-intercept form. I like to use a lot of graphic organizers, and the students can edit right in this. These are created from the drawing, so they just double click and they are able to edit the drawing. Down here, lots of thought bubbles, tried to really reduce the amount of paragraphs that the students would have to read that are common in many math texts. Throughout the notes and throughout some of the web pages here, I have these poll everywhere questions. Poll everywhere is an anonymous texting service, so students can answer the questions without fear of people laughing at them for their responses or not feeling sure about their responses. This is that yes/no question that is in that note sheet right here. And so that can kind of help to start the dialogue. So people vote yes, people vote no, and then we can talk about yes or no and why, and talk about, bring in that old vocabulary of continuous and discrete and why these points should be connected. And then here I add the thought bubble. What if I wanted to use the graphing calculator? And here I included a YouTube video for how to use the TI-84, which we have in my classroom. And then here I included another tech tip for that in-the-moment access. Like, I don't know how to do this yet. Here's this quick little tech tip that's going to teach you how to do it. And again, using Screencast-O-Matic, I can show the students my screen and exactly what they should be looking at when they're using it. So that's awesome. And then down here, there's these little audio clips throughout, also created on Vocaroo. Here's my free response question. So my free response poll everywhere. Why are the points in this graph connected? Why, when we look at this graph, are these points connected together? What makes that continuous? Let's have a discussion about it and interpret it and understand why we're doing these things. And then here, intercepts, discussing what those mean. So those context situations, again, more audio, more supplemental information, trying to avoid large blocks of text for these students, avoiding that cognitive overload. The slope-intercept form assignment document is organized the same way. You click it open, it makes a copy, and then you answer it. I also create these Google Forms as a check for understanding. So while we can go over these assignments, I just want a quick check, be able for them to submit something so that I can see it. This one has them writing their own situation, being prepared to discuss it the next day in class. Why does this meet this requirement? Why does it not? And then down here, I have created on Padlet. I like the functionality of Padlet. They're able to double click. It's embedded directly into this website, so preventing the amount of clicks that they have to go away from, because they have to open the Google Doc, they have to open the poll everywhere, they have to open the form, just trying to keep them in this page right here. They can double click and add something in these different modes. They can connect different ideas. So if I go to this little thing, connect to a post, disconnect from a post. So if there's something they agree with or don't agree with, they can connect or disconnect and then add why they did that certain thing. And it's embedded right here in the page. They don't have to go away from it. And then down at the bottom here, we can go to the next lesson. Organized very similarly. Again, the Vocaroo at the top, trying to prevent that cognitive load. Here we have a different activity to open, and then I have some audio directions, trying to avoid long lists of directions that they have to focus on before they do the activity. Note page is the same, assignment, Google Forms. Here's that Padlet repeated. I use it in each one because that vocabulary carries over. And then here I add another discussion about intercepts, so students are able to add to this discussion. They don't have to talk out loud in class. We can add to it, and then we can kind of bring that all together, on this forum versus out loud. So that's that written communication. If I go to the third lesson, similar idea. Here's the objectives for the day. I bring back this Padlet. Let's have a discussion about this. Let's talk about these ideas. Is there anything else that we can connect to? And then here I have a video from Khan Academy with a poll everywhere question embedded right next to it. Again, reducing the amount of clicks. Here's our similar assignments and, documents. And then down here again, that vocabulary Padlet, making them revisit those connections and solidify that vocabulary in their thinking and in their dialogue. One thing I really struggled with at first with this was using videos that were already created versus creating my own videos. Creating my own videos for all of this would have taken me a lifetime, and I'm kind of a perfectionist. So understanding that these are quality videos made by people who do what we do, they educate. So Khan Academy is very prominent in the educational world for their online videos, and just understand that I could use those um, versus creating my own. The other thing that I really struggled with was the formatting of my website, like trying to make it look how I wanted it to look. At first, it was just like this big list of information and it wasn't very colorful. And I tried to keep it simple, but also avoid big blocks of text. And then learning enough to embed these things. Weebly makes it very simple to embed things. You just drag the embed um, icon into your Weebly and it kind of makes it self-explanatory, and then finding all of the embed links in this. So this is my project and I'm very proud of it, and I'm excited to see what you guys think.